It is a beautiful day today, so I am going to attempt to get, I'm trying to get through the ice here. I am going to attempt to get ahead on some of the projects. We have a lot going on this year, so, everything in spring kind of adds on quickly. So I figured if today I can get a whole lot done, it'd be a plus. We're going to prune some hydrangeas and prune some roses. I'm going to give you some tips on those, but first, we're going to go down to the chickens, and I'm going to show you a little bit of the garden and show you where we're at. I've got some kitchen scraps to give to these chickens. So, real quick, I'll just kind of show you where we're at. Yes, we have not taken down Christmas outside here yet. We did get the front fence put in. So that's where we're at on fencing. It'll continue down the driveway on the opposite side this spring. That's one of the projects. And then we need to finish back here. So it'll continue past this this gate here that we've put, and it'll go down to what's going to be Christmas Alley down there. So I'll just kind of give you a little run through. I've got some mapping going out here. This is where my raised beds are going to be. There's going to be 8 corrugated metal beds right in this area for the vegetable garden. I've got a lot of clearing out to do here. The chickens have come through here and just devoured it. So this is my project that'll be next for another day. And we've had to stake my deodar cedar this winter. We had bad wind one day and it just kind of toppled over. And along with the chickens messing with it, I think it just kind of made it pop out pretty easily. But we've got a lot to do back here. There's going to be gravel placed along all of these paths, and then all of the areas that are not gravel, like where the grapes are over there, those posts, and it'll all be mulched in. I'm not going to do this black mulch. I'm going to do something that is more natural, meant for vegetables and things like that. So that's kind of where we're at down here. Of course, the fencing will continue along the back. And down there are some roses that we need to prune today. So let me drop this stuff off for them. It's not much, kids. All right, I'll check for eggs real quick, and then we will head up. Ooh, 4 of them. Nice. Okay, we're gonna head back up. And we're going to start pruning some roses. I do have, later this month, coming a full farm tour with plans for this year and everything. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, I know it's not a whole lot to look at right now in the wintertime. But there are just so many projects, and I really just want, if anything for me, just to have this reference of what it looked like before this coming summer. Okay, so today I'm trying to get all of this landscape up here at the house cleaned up because I still have petunias that are in that I thought maybe would overwinter, but then we got a really cold spell. So they have definitely died, but I did buy seed for these again. I'm going to pop a picture up on the screen because they were gorgeous, and I started them from seed, and it was like $5 for the packet of seed of 10 of them, and I mean gorgeous. So I got 4 times the amount that I did last year because it was just beautiful. So I'm going to try to do this today. I have some Russian sage I'm going to clip back, and the roses and the hydrangeas. So let's focus on roses. I've got my pruners and I've got my bag to collect some of the stuff. So with roses, if you have a variety that blooms only once throughout the year, you want to wait, prune those after they have bloomed. This I'm doing a little early. You probably want to wait until after the first or the last frost because you could still have some cold damage that could happen. Here in Southern Virginia, we don't really get that cold. So I'm going to go ahead and do this, and then I'm just going to check them in the spring if there's anything that I need to clean up a little bit. At least I know the bulk of it is done because I've got so many other projects that I need to tackle this spring. So I'm not going to do a whole lot of pruning on this one. So the first thing that you want to look for is anything that is dead or diseased that you can just completely go through and get rid of. As far as right now, because it's winter, it's going to be kind of hard to tell, but if you scratch it, you can tell it'll be green if it's fresh wood. If it is brown and brittle and just snaps right off, it's dead wood. So you can cut that all the way back to where you see fresh growth. If you need to shape your rose, you could take it back by like a third. So then the other thing that you want to do, you want to have nice airflow in your plants. So anything that is crossing over the center of the plant, you can go ahead and remove. That'll give it nice airflow. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so now I've taken out everything across the center. Let's see one more here. To just give it that space it needs to breathe, and that's going to help with disease control and bugs and all kinds of things. So then the next thing I'm going to do is kind of come in and do this final shaping. You notice that your roses are kind of looking diseased and you feel like they just need, or they don't look all that great, you can actually cut them down pretty far and do a hard prune on them, and they will push all that new fresh growth and hopefully take on a more healthier look to them. So let's go on and talk about hydrangeas. Okay, there are several different types of hydrangeas. There are some that bloom on new wood and some that bloom on old wood, and the time that you prune them back is going to really matter for some of those. So the ones that are the hydrangea macrophylla are the ones that you can tell if you have these, if they bloom blue, purple, or pink, and they change color depending on what acidity levels you have. Those are the ones that are really going to make a difference on when you prune them. Those bloom on new wood. Okay, those are really the only ones you have to remember if you have these. So they bloom on new wood, so you need to cut them back after they bloom at the end of the summertime. You need to shear them back and shape them, do whatever you need to do so that they have time before the end of the season to push new growth, and then where that new growth is where they will bloom the following year. For all of the other hydrangeas, it's not quite as big of a deal when you prune them. So the hydrangea paniculata, I think is what it is, or the arborescens, which is like the Annabelle hydrangeas, the Bobo hydrangeas, they're real big, round heads, and those are the arborescens. And then you have these, which are kind of cone shaped. So these all are okay to prune pretty much whenever. So I actually like to leave them up in wintertime like this because I just think it adds so much interest in the winter garden. But like I said, I'm ready to get ahead. So with these, you can prune, they bloom on old wood, so it doesn't matter. You just want to prune them not too late. If you see a bud that's forming and you prune that, you're obviously going to get rid of some of your flowers. So now is a really good time. You can see there's like little buds all up and down this stem, and those are where branches and blooms are going to be for the next year, but they're all up and down. So, and it'll bloom along those spots. So same thing with hydrangeas. You could start by removing any of the dead or diseased or anything like that. And then you want to take out anything that crosses over the center. I will say, I'll show you some hydrangeas that I have over in the front of the house, and I pruned those a little bit differently last year, and I did not take out some of the bottom crisscross. Now, these haven't been planted. I think this is their third season, or maybe it's their fourth season. Last year, I pruned out, I would say wait at least 3 seasons before you prune out the bottom. So that way it gets like this nice full look. And then from there, you can clean out a lot of those new tiny little thin growth. But before the 3 years, you want it to take on that full look, right? So I'm actually going to leave a lot of this here. For these, they put on some pretty tall growth here. These get 6 to 8 feet. These are the limelight hydrangeas, and they are beautiful. I'll put some pictures up of them. They, you know, come out nice and white or fresh and green looking, and then white, and then they turn and get these like mauve colors to them in the fall, and they're just They're gorgeous. They add so much interest up here at the house. And then you can cut it back by about a third. These, I'm going to take these taller pieces here down pretty far, and then probably not as much down here, just because I want it to take on that full look. So that's it. I'm going to start pruning. See all of these buds down the stem, cut just above a bud, okay? Okay, look at what I found. Oh, they are like the best sight in February when snow is still on the ground and everything is still cold and you're just hoping for those summer blooms. These are hellebores. They're also called Lenten roses. You can find them in your garden centers, usually this time of the year. What we're gonna do here, we're gonna clean this up. This one actually reseeded last year. So I'm hoping that a lot of these made it through the winter time and I can dig them up and move them to other areas of my garden. And that way I can expand having these without spending a whole lot of money. They're probably about $25 a piece. Sometimes if they go on sale, they're maybe $20. But they're awesome, and these blooms they shoot up, and they're such a beautiful sight. So I'm just going to cut back all of this old dead growth so that all of this new stuff, there's another one, can come through. Might not finish all today, but it's looking so much better. And under all of these petunias that I'm pulling up, here, I've got some here, some down in the garden, and some up at the road. I have planted over 300 tulip and daffodil and freesia bulbs. So I'm super excited to see what it's going to look like. So I planted them just kind of in those areas, and we'll see what I do from year to year. But still got this whole area to do. We are done. Thanks for joining me today. I will show you the finished product here in just a minute. As I pan across everything, even though it's still covered in snow, it still looks so much cleaner than it did. And now I feel like I'm one step ahead for spring and all the projects that we have planned. So hope you come back soon to see all that we've got planned for this year, and I'll see you next time.